And this is part of that issue. Because we get stuff like this is the reason why people have knee-jerk reactions to black characters and black stories. And I guess that's what it is. If your story don't have no black people in it, then your story is anti-black or anti-African, you know. Well, maybe we were on the wrong side of history. Shut up, Tucker. Stop doing nonsense like this, okay? All right, there's no need for it, okay? If you don't like Lord of the Rings, just don't read Lord of the Rings. What is up, YouTube? My name is Mario, aka the real Super Mario. Check out the main channel because the main channel is popping. We're talking about Pokemon Legends ZA over there. All right, that j been straight fire. That's been why I ain't been able to put out as many videos as I want to do because I've been playing it. AKA the Loot Box Hero. AKA YouTube's greatest fat man here, bringing you another video. All right, so we have an interesting little video for you today. So this article came out of the UK. It says that students are being taught that Lord of the Rings is anti-African. So Lord of the Rings is anti-black. I guess because there's no black people in it, you know. So I guess that's what it is. If your story don't have no black people in it, then your story is anti-black or anti-African, you know. So we're gonna go ahead and break this down. Of course, when you continue getting videos like this, or any other videos from me, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button, all that good stuff that YouTube requires you to do to continue getting videos from me. I've been doing multiple videos today, and my brain is tired. So we're gonna get through this one though. So it says students at British University are being taught that J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings books are demonizing people of color. The university at Nottingham is offering a history module named Decolonizing Tolkien et al.
What the hell is even that?
I feel like this is like some kind of like bougie, like intellectual type of term, like, oh, decolonizing all of Tolkien or something weird like that, you know. Tell me what it is in the comments, because I'm not that bougie. I'm a little bougie, but I'm not that bougie. It says, which tells students that characters with a darker complexion in the trilogy suffer at the hands of ethnic chauvinism, which is not a real thing, I'm gonna be honest. It says the module leader, Dr. Onyeka Nubia.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Which I'm 1000% certain that is not a real name. Okay, that is not that man's real name. I know a Wakandan alias when I see it. Okay, that man's name is Dr. Nubia. All right, the same way that Dr. Umar's name not being Jermaine. Okay, come on now, stop playing. So this is kind of Dr. Nubia's, this is his shtick, okay? He's been doing this for a couple years. I think I might have mentioned him in the Final Fantasy 16 video, I believe. You know what I'm saying? He's basically using his authority as a history teacher, a history scholar, to kind of corrode the history of the UK from within.
So within the concept of understanding Englishness and history, we are often bombarded with images of monarchs. These images of monarchs are then disseminated to us as the definitive representation of the period of time in which they exist in. For example, we need to diminish that fallacy. And the way we do it is by looking at this photograph, which is a picture of the present reigning monarch, longest serving monarch in British history now. And this picture does not provide a definitive description of the ethnicity of the country in which she has served.
Shut the fuck up, you cunt!
All right, and I don't really like when people twist history, because it basically damages history when you do that. I don't like it when the 1619 Project did it here in America.
People refer to the 1619 Project as a history, but it's not a history. It really is talking about America today.
The 1619 Project is a 6-part docuseries that explores all aspects of American life through the lens of slavery.
We were told that by virtue of our bondage, we would never be American.
but it was by virtue of our bondage that we became the most American of all.
Do me a favor, bro. Shut your ass up.
I don't like it when Tucker Carlson is doing it right now.
I think, and maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic, maybe, but I told him, maybe trying to provoke him a little bit, that I thought Churchill was the chief villain of the Second World War.
Why don't you just make the case for that? Okay, so you
talking the Nazis told him, oh, maybe we were on the wrong side of history. Shut up, Tucker. All right, I will believe your view of history about as much as I believe Dr. Nubia's. It seems that the lighter-skinned people of the West in the series are depicted as righteous, whereas the Eastern races are depicted as wicked. The historian, I say that with air quotes, writes in his core text of the module that the Easterlings and the Southrons and men of the Hadrad or Harad are unfairly smeared through the trilogy. So there's kind of a reasoning for this, okay? That's mainly because in Lord of the Rings, most of the men of the West, right? So that's the people of Gondor, Rohan, you know what I'm saying? Most of them are descendants from the Númenóreans, who themselves were the descendants of the Edain. And it's all part of the plot. So it's not like, oh, the white people are just better. Like, they're literally, like, descended from, like, you know, enlightened beings. They're, like, you know, they're part of that whole mythos, okay? All right, and so that's why they seem to be, like, the good guys, and the other ones seem to be the bad guys, or the Easterlings or the Southrons seem to be the quote-unquote bad guys. You know, it's also the fact that, you know, because of what happened with Númenor and what was going on in that whole thing with Sauron, that the Easterlings and the Southrons got corrupted by Sauron. They're being used by Sauron. You know, so it's not like, oh, well, they're just evil. They're actually being deceived and manipulated by Sauron, which is, it shows why he's so evil, because he's manipulating so many people to do his will. That's the point. Okay, and again, I'm not the sharpest Lord of the Rings fan. I like Lord of the Rings, but I'm not like a Lord of the Rings lore whore. It says the text also highlights the inclusion of dark-skinned orcs, evil characters who serve the Dark Lord, Sauron. So just calling him the Dark Lord, and it's not like dark like he's dark-skinned. All right, it's not like freaking Sauron is daggone blue-black African. It's calling him a Dark Lord because of his deeds are dark. His magic is dark. He's evil. It's not saying like, oh my gosh, they call him the Dark Lord because he's from Jamaica. Like, stop tripping, man. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Nubia claimed that Tolkien shared connotations of anti-African antipathy in his work, where Africans are presented as neutral, as the natural enemy of the white man. I was gonna be all nice and try to, you know, go into the Lord. No. I'm gonna let it rip like a Beyblade, cause no, this criticism is insane coming from modern black writers today. Come on now. How they gonna sit here and be like, oh man, they made all the black characters bad and all the white characters good? How many times have we seen this happen in modern black stories? Like, a lot of times, okay? All right, you can pick a black movie right now, all right, and they have similar storylines to this. I'll even give you one, Lovecraft Country. All right, I know I talk about it a lot on this channel, and one of these days I'm gonna have to do a deep dive video on Lovecraft Country, kind of like I did with Sinners. But the fact is, Lovecraft Country, every white people come in two flavors in that show. All right, evil racist white person and magical evil racist white person. Okay, there is not a single white character that has a different character trait. All right, literally the white people in Lovecraft Country are like the orcs from Lord of the Rings before the Rings of Power. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's like. And the thing is, this type of writing in that show destroys the entire world building of the show, because that show is supposed to be in our world, right? Just a version of our world that has Lovecraftian magic sprinkled through it. Okay, so that means that stuff like the abolitionist movement, Bleeding Kansas, the Civil War, all that stuff took place. All right, John Brown, Abraham Lincoln, those were real people. Okay, but in that world, since all the white people are racist, that would mean that John Brown probably didn't drag a slave supporter out of his house and murder him with a machete. That didn't happen because guess what? He didn't like black people. You see how it destroys the entire narrative? I mean, the world building of your story. At least in Lord of the Rings, they have a reason for why the Southrons and all those other people are evil. It's because they're under the influence of Sauron. That's the point. At least they have a reason in their stories for why something like this happened. And look, even with that, you can even say that, oh, well, you know, Lord of the Rings was written 100 years ago, so maybe that comes into play. Okay, yeah. You know, Lovecraft Country came out in what, 2020? It came out 5 years ago. And they're writing stories like, come on, bro, get out of here. In addition to the Lord of the Rings books, the module explores the renowned C.S. Lewis and The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe through the lens of race, which is basically the biggest mistake, okay? Like, you can't look at everything through the lens of race, all right? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that's not the angle that they're coming from. All right, not to mention, I think this is the first time I've ever seen somebody criticize the Narnia through the lens of race, because usually people just criticize it through like the lens of like misogyny. Because technically, if you know Narnia, of course, it's like a Christian allegory story, and there's a lot of Christian values in the story. And the oldest sister, you know what I'm saying, of the family, like she goes off and becomes like a thought. All right, and they talk about how she uses her lipsticks and her makeups and all this other kind of stuff. So she becomes a thought. And then when everybody dies, she doesn't die. So she can't go to Narnia heaven. That's basically how it ends. So it's kind of strange that this is the criticism that he's giving to Narnia. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing that like makes this culture war so virulent. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if this is going to come out before the Half is More video, because I've already recorded it. So whichever one comes out first, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So if this comes out first, it's a little spoiler. But there's a video I'm doing about Half is More, the manga that is coming out, and the firestorm of controversy around it. And this is part of that issue. All right, because whenever real diversity comes out, like Half is More, because we get nonsense like this, like Lord of the Rings got anti-African antipathy or whatever, because we get stuff like this is the reason why people have knee-jerk reactions to black characters and black stories and all this other kind of stuff. Stop doing nonsense like this, okay? All right, there's no need for it, okay? If you don't like Lord of the Rings, just don't read Lord of the Rings. All right, if anything, if you don't like Lord of the Rings and you think Lord of the Rings is racist, how about we write actual black fantasy, like high fantasy? You'll be surprised the market that is out there for like, you know, black high fantasy, black swords, sandals, and sorcery type stories. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, y'all just want to shove black characters into every orifice of white fantasy, you know. But we go on. So Dr. Nubia also takes aim at William Shakespeare in the module's core text, arguing that he created a fictional mono-ethnic English past. England is an island, okay, or a couple of islands if you count like Northern Ireland, but that's not my story, that's not my fight. But it's an island. All right, so when you're talking like ancient history, okay, like most of the people, 99.9% of the people on that island were white, okay? All right, I'm just saying. Okay, maybe I can give you leeway when it comes to France or Germany or Spain, especially Spain, since you know the Muslims had conquered Spain and they had held it for 400 years, I can give you some leeway there. England is an island. All right, it wasn't any black people on that island. And then later there might have been some black people, but it was a very, very small percentage. And they weren't like kings and queens, because this dude, that's what he tries to do. Not only does he try to say that they were here, but they were also prominent. They were a prominent part of the history. Stop it, okay? This is why people don't trust, like, you know, historians and stuff now. And this opens the door for conspiracy theories and stuff. You know, the historian claimed that Mr. Shakespeare's plays were missing direct references to the Africans living in England. And he also added that this helped to create the illusion that England was a racially homogenous place in his writing.
You guys fucking suck.
Stuff like this is not necessary, all right? You don't have to do this. You know, black people do have history, all right? And I've talked about this multiple times. I talked about this in the Final Fantasy 16 video. I talked about this in the Shogun video. And I think I did one of my black tropes about this as well. We don't have to force ourselves into other people's history. We have history. We have an entire continent of history, okay? All right, stop doing this, okay? Lord of the Rings does not have anti-black antipathy or whatever. All right, tell me what you think in the comments down below. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think, Mario, there you go, putting on your coon mask again, you know what I'm saying? Or you old think piece black, you know. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, people, keep it real.